Recording has been resumed. You are live.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. This is the regular board meeting for the Tioga County Industrial Development Agency. It is Wednesday, August 5th, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. The meeting is hereby called to order. Christine, if you would like to go through the roll call and the attendees, please.
Jen Ceccarelli?
Yes.
Kevin Gillette?
Yes.
Aaron Gowan?
Here.
Tracy Manell? Martha Sabri?
Here.
Eric Knowles?
Yes.
Jen Ward is excused today. So moving forward, we'd like to acknowledge our guest, Matt Freeze, who's appeared today, and proceed to the approval of minutes.
Has everyone had time to review the minutes? Good, then I'll take a motion.
I make a motion.
Thank you, thank you. Let's do roll call vote, please.
Jen Ceccarelli?
Yes.
Kevin Gillette?
Yes.
Aaron Gowan?
Yes.
Tracy Manell?
Yes.
Martha Sabri?
Yes.
Eric Knowles?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to the financials, are there, has everybody had time to review them? And Aaron, do you have any comments?
Everything looked fine to me. I didn't see any issues at all.
Okay, great. I'll entertain a motion to acknowledge the financials.
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Christine.
Jen Ceccarelli?
Yes.
Kevin Gillette?
Yes.
Aaron Gowan?
Yes.
Tracy Manell?
Yes.
Martha Sabri?
Yes.
Eric Knowles?
Yes.
Thank you. So next is the ED&P update with Lee and Timmy.
Hello, everybody.
Man.
A little rundown on what's happening in our world. Some of it is not COVID related, so that's good news. Southern Tier Network broadband study is progressing nicely. This is the one, remember, we had asked the IDA to sponsor on this. It's a feasibility study that will document and capture the region's unserved and underserved areas and identify cost-effective network technology and propose potential deployment and operating models. So this was anticipated initially to run about for our portion of it, because we are partnering with 4 other counties. It's a 5-county initiative being led by Southern Tier Network. The IDA had agreed to fund our portion of it, which initially was about $73,000, and we had promised the board that we would look for grant sources to help offset that cost. Couple of developments since then. There was a county added, or initially it was 4 counties, a Schmunk County added later, and by doing so, it reduced the amount that the Tioga County was going to have to put into a little over $63,000. And I am happy to report that we applied to USDA for funding for the study and have received a 100% award for this. So the full study will be paid for by way of the USDA grant. So
Excellent.
I would just like to say thank you to this board for agreeing to kind of step out there and trusting that we would do our best to, find a way to fund it, and appreciate that very much. And so we're very, we're really down the line, and we'll have a really great product, I think, when we get done.
Yeah, I would echo that thanks as well from the IT department at the county.
Thank you, Leanne. Yep. So I'm continuing with regular economic development organizations around the Southern Tier. We meet every 2 weeks to just kind of share what everybody's doing. Not only COVID related, but in general, that's been ongoing since the regional council has not been meeting. We've kind of taken it upon ourselves locally, regionally, to stay connected. That's going well. Had an opportunity to sit down with Congressman Reed at a roundtable event that was here at the county office building. And we were able to talk right directly with the congressman, and he shared some updates on what's coming. So that was helpful. We've had a meeting with Seth SEP is the housing entity. It's located in Broome County, very well-respected organization handling housing in Broome County, and they have some interest in doing a project here in Tioga County. So we're in regular conversations with them and trying to identify a potential site for working family type housing project. Also met with a private investor who's looking to do market rate housing project. Again, working with them and trying to identify potential site for that project. I have had the opportunity to go out and make some visits, trying to get out and connect with our businesses and find out where they're at and how they're doing. This last month I met with VNS. Again, we did a tour with sheriff's people, and he's had some new people in leadership roles. So we went around and did a tour of the facility there. Got to see them actually do a dip. It was the coolest thing ever. So it was really, really very interesting. Took us through the whole process. It was pretty neat. Also stopped in and visited with folks at Norwesco to see how they were doing. They're actually doing quite well. They never shut down. They were deemed essential, and they've been chugging right along, and they've not seen an impact so far related to COVID. As well, we did participated in a press conference on July 24th at Tioga Downs, and initiated a little campaign to obtain letters of support for, specifically we're asking for the governor to release guidelines for the opening of casinos. So we attended that. I attended that event. It was well attended, and I thought it went well. As well, there were representatives from Broome and Chemung County there too, because they are impacted by the shutdown of Tioga Downs as well. Our Tioga County Economic Recovery Advisory Council was a group of leaders from around the county representing different sectors of the county. We've identified 8 different sectors that we are looking to put an economic recovery strategy plan together. We're starting into that process now. And it's going to look at both the short-term and long-term implications of COVID. It's COVID specific, and trying to come up with a plan to address not only short-term, but take into consideration the long-term impacts of it. A couple of the impacts that we're critically aware of are impacts to childcare, and also the impacts that we're going to have with working parents and their children. And who knows what the K through 12, what it's going to look like. Different districts are going to have different plans. Some remote learning, some it's just going to be all over the place. And we recognize that there's going to be major challenges for working parents in making it work. So we're starting discussions on that and trying to figure out how we do that. 2020 census is well underway. They had shortened the time frame. It's now going to be completed at the end of September instead of the end of October. Census workers are going to start their door-to-door outreach as of August 11th. So Elaine is working very hard on getting the word out on people. If you guys haven't completed your census, please do so. Take it 10 minutes, but we need to get everybody to respond. Otherwise, you'll get somebody knocking at your door. Village of Owego DRI projects. We have 17 projects that are actively working toward getting started. We have 6 New York Main Street projects we're working with. Owego Gardens 2, I think Christine's going to touch on that later. Land Bank is active. They're looking at acquiring some additional properties in the Village of Owego. Restore New York projects in Owego and Waverly are progressing. They're both moving along. Workforce. We're in the implementation stage of the workforce pipeline study, and we just last week applied for WORC grant to help with implementation of that study. The Ag 8-year district review in 2 districts is ongoing, Owego Nichols District and also Spencer, Candor, Barton, Tioga. So that public hearing is scheduled for the end of the month for that. The Ag value chain, we've talked about completing an ag value chain study, and I'm happy to say we again applied on behalf of the IDA for funding to USDA to fund this study. And the purpose of the study is to identify new desirable local and regional wholesale market opportunities for the county's farmers, to identify specific points where investment, focused resources, or other strategic actions could support the growth and vibrancy of the local farm and food economy. Essentially, the goal will be to determine supply chain activities in the county and identify how to connect or better connect local producers to local consumers. So we got the grant award, 100% grant award on that. We're happy to say, so the work on that study will begin here pretty soon. Megan has started talking with consultants that we're going to use to put that study together. We have right now 5 pending grants out there that we're waiting to hear on, and we have 19 active grants that our office is involved with, and 2 grant projects that have been completed, which are the Code Enforcement Shared Services Feasibility Study and the Phase 2 of Workforce Pipeline Strategy. That's all I have for now.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's the longest I've heard you talk.
I try to talk fast.
Any questions for Leanne?
Okay.
Thanks, Leanne.
So for project updates, Owego Gardens 2, you all voted by email. Thank you to sign the new purchase and sale agreement extension. We need to do a affirmation of that vote for the minutes, please. So I'll do roll call. If you could vote, provide your yes vote. Jen Ceccarelli,
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
Aaron Gowan,
Yes.
Tracy Manell,
Yes.
Martha Sauerbrei,
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. The DEC water quality certificate is in progress. I met on site with DEC and Fagan Engineering. A few changes are in progress, but not any that are an issue. We did get HCR early notice regarding disturbance to a wetland, and we provided the IDA letter of support in response. And last month we talked about the land clearing. So since then, Home Leasing's been advised by HCR not to complete that until their closing occurs in October. So they've expressed extreme gratitude to IDA's willingness to work on that together, but we'll wait until the closing occurs and they will just handle that on their own. So Owego Gardens 2 is coming along. The VNS Water Sewer Extension Grant Disbursement Agreement, the final version was received, reviewed and approved by Joe. So I'm seeking a motion authorizing Jen Ceccarelli to sign that grant disbursement agreement on behalf of IDA, please.
So moved. This is Aaron.
We have a second, please.
Marty, yes.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Thank you. Jen Ceccarelli?
Yes.
Kevin Gillette?
So I say yes.
Thank you. Aaron Gowan?
Yes.
Tracy Manell?
Yes.
Martha Sauerbrei?
Yes.
Eric Knowles?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Moving on to new business, we received phone call from the attorneys working on a residence sale, and the actual home building is impeding the railroad right of way. So Joe's been in contact with the attorney of Steve May, and Joe, would you please take over? And Drew, will you please pull up that survey?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that Joe is technically challenged.
Joe, you need to unmute.
There you go.
Hear me now? Okay, all right. I've been in touch with the attorney for the homeowner. His name is Scott Pellinger. He's down in Sayre. They're trying to sell the property. They had a survey done. Turns out about 20% of this house is in the railroad right away. I've talked with Jim Franz, attorney for Steve May, and in fact, I got an email from him yesterday indicating that they're willing to enter into whatever type of documents necessary to release that portion of the house from the operating agreement, if you will. The only question that remains is what type of document do we do with the owner of this house to affect this change? There are restrictions on conveyance of railroad property, and we haven't been able to get to the bottom of that yet. So it may be a deed, it may be an easement, it may be a license. There's a lot of different ways we can potentially do it. This house has been there for what, 40 years or so. It used to be a restaurant. I'm not familiar with it.
Oliveris.
What was it called?
Oliveris, yeah.
Oliveris, yeah. So it's been there forever. And Steve May says there's enough space between the house and the track that he can get whatever he needs in there to do whatever work he would have to do. So assuming that the board is willing to accommodate this homeowner, we just have to work to find out what type of document can achieve this. Again, railroad properties are a little funky. Not a little funky, they're a lot of funky, and there's a lot of restrictions about what you can and can't do. So we have to get to the bottom of that so that the new homeowner's attorney will be able to write title insurance and get them a mortgage. But assuming the board's agreeable to it, we'll work towards that end.
So is this a house on a foundation, or is this a double wide on a slab? Or I kind of sort of know where we're at here, and the home's been there a good long while, but I'm just curious.
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I've assumed it's a house on a foundation, but I don't know that. I don't know that. I'll find that out though.
How much?
So you don't have a recommendation of what you're gonna.
I don't have one as to the actual type of document we would use in order to allow this home to stay in its current location. I would be more inclined to go with an easement or a license. It's just a question of whether that's sufficient for the title insurance purposes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, an easement or a license, if the house ever burnt down or whatever.
Right, the license, the easement would end.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we would never, in effect, be out of title, if you will.
Right, right.
It is a substantial easement or a substantial encroachment, you know, so it's not as if it's, 2 feet over the line or something. It's a good 20% of the house.
Right.
So.
Well, I think for me, I would say let's move forward, and if it doesn't bother Steve May, then we let Joe do his work.
I mean, that was where I went first, because if he were again it, if you will, we would be going nowhere.
Right.
But he doesn't seem to have a problem with it, and will release his operating agreement from that portion of the property. So again, I don't think we need a resolution at this point. At some point, I will come back to you with a document of some type to hopefully affect what the seller of the property is trying to do.
Right. And what we are legally can do.
Yes.
On our end. All right.
Again, I would be looking for the least obtrusive type of conveyance. You know, obviously the full conveyance of fee simple deed I would like to avoid. Easement license, something along that line to, again, if this were a new construction or something, that would be different, but it's, you know, it's been there for 40 years and everyone's been obviously been oblivious to the encroachment, but has been able to operate without any negative impact. So
Train goes through that, how close that is to the house.
No.
Are we sure that thing has been there for 40 years?
I'm sorry.
Are we sure that that's been there for 40 years?
I say 40, but it's 30 or 40. That I can get you the exact time. It's obviously not new construction. It's a house behind where it appears the restaurant was.
Yeah, I'm looking at it online right now. It's a double wide.
Is it a double wide? Okay.
Yep.
So that
So
would be
it's
more
somebody
amenable.
stuck this
That
in
would
there.
be more. That would be more amenable to an easement or a license, and be more likely that at some point it's going to be gone, as would then the easement or the license.
Any other questions for Joe?
Again, I wouldn't be looking for a resolution now, just a sense that you want me to continue to work on this to get it to where it's supposed to be. Although I could come back and say, hey, you can't do it, you know. Railroad law is different. So
I would agree with Aaron, just continue forward and see what we come up with, but it is a good point to know whether it sits on a slab or on piers
Yes.
or on a foundation. That's a really good point here, because if it's a double wide on some blocks out there, then
Move it.
it's a little more, there's more options.
okay. All right. I'll follow up on that.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to old business, under governance committee, we have some upcoming events that Jen would like to go over.
Yeah, they're just, everything happens in the fall, unfortunately. In August, we're going to be conducting Christine's annual evaluation, reviewing Leanne's stipend. I will be meeting with the governance committee in August to review some numbers. We'll bring them forward at the September board meeting and executive session for a vote, obviously, once we come out of executive session. I'm not sure about the budget. I think the finance committee is going to have to start meeting in early September, because we're going to have to close the budget, and I would like a board vote on that at the October board meeting. And then everything, all the numbers will go to Paris by the end of October. So I think that the finance committee is going to have to meet also, you know, maybe at the end of this month or starting in early September to start discussing budget details. And the salary numbers will obviously be included in the new budget. So I had sexual harassment training on here also. I have no idea when that's going to happen. Have you heard anything, Marty?
No.
Maybe October? I don't know. It'll happen sometime this fall. So we're all going to have to complete that exercise again, just for your awareness. Any questions on the schedule of events?
No, but this is Aaron. Christine can get started on the budget at any time.
Yes, she can.
And I mean, if she has some questions, she can reach out to me or Leanne or and just start working on it, going through it and seeing what she thinks. That way it'll make it a little easier for the finance committee.
Right. I believe she has some vacation scheduled in August, though, so she will probably start working on it in September.
So that budget is no problem. I can whip it up in no time and then reach out to the finance committee and schedule to all, discuss it and gather your inputs and make any adjustments there forward.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have any problems.
Great. So, and since Jen's bringing it up, I do have a vacation starting tomorrow, and I'll be back Wednesday the 12th. I do have one scheduled for the 16th to the 22nd, but it's looking like that will be canceled, and I'll be providing an official cancellation on that. So I'll be back next week, Wednesday.
Have a good time.
What?
I said, have a good time.
Thank you so much. I will.
And I'm saying,
Don't play golf.
Don't worry about us, Christine. We'll be all right.
No, thank you. And I won't be playing golf. Don't worry. So moving on to
loan committee.
loan committee. The seller was approved for the $40,000 facade loan. That is for external repairs, new doors, some deck work, and it's in coordination with their DRI project. So it's being used as their match for the DRI. Moving forward, just a reminder that I'm aware that Blodgett Road is an issue with the stream moving toward the railroad track. We are on the list for Soil and Water to provide some advice as soon as they are able. So I'll be bringing that forward in the future. And then, as Leanne mentioned, we were approved for both grants that were applied for under the name of IDA, the Ag Value Chain and the broadband, covering the full amounts of those projects. So no match required.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I forgot something. I'm sorry, guys and ladies. If anyone has any comments to provide to me that I can include in Christine's evaluation, please do send me an email, and I would want that within a week if I could. I'm sorry. I forgot to
Don't be
mention that.
sorry.
Thank you.
And then the last thing on regular agenda is just a sales tax exemption update. Both BNS and Best Buy are still supplying monthly reports and within their allowable limits. And that's all that I have. If there are no further comments. Questions?
We will be having executive session today, and I would request a motion so that we can go into executive session, please.
So moved.
Matt,
Thank you. Thank you, Nan.
I think Tracy seconded it.
Okay, we need to get off screen.
Yep, I need to pause.
Second, third.
All right, we are back.
Thank you. Is there any other topics for discussion while we are resuming our meeting right now? No? Do I have a motion to adjourn? How would that be?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Hey, everybody.